Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Earthen's Den. And in today's episode, I just want to make a message for the girls like me real quick because, growing up for myself, I was always very different. Okay, I always did my own thing. I always wore what I wanted to wear. And I think a lot of times, you meet people and sometimes, it is the opposite sex, right? And it's the opposite sex and there's conversations that are had or comments that are made on your behalf that don't feel so good. Right. I think a lot of times, just as women, we are expected to be one particular way. Right. Like as women, we're expected to be soft spoken and we're expected to be, and don't get me wrong. I believe in mannerism. I believe in carrying yourself like a lady. And, I'm a very classy woman. But I think that, there's really something said about the girls like me, right? I think a lot of times if a girl is, not like all the other girls, right? Like, yes, she'll wear a dress, but she doesn't really like to wear dresses, right? Or, she doesn't really like to wear makeup, or she doesn't really like to get her hair done. Or, if you're like myself, you're into books, you're into nature, you're into all these things that it's not typically what people are expecting girls to be into, right? And so what I've found and what I've even experienced in my own life is that oftentimes we equate the girls like me and the girls who like basketball, right? We put them in a space where it's like, okay, yeah, you must be a lesbian, right? And this is no disrespect to the LGBTQ community, but I just want to talk to people about this stereotype and sometimes the pressure that you feel to be something that you're not, right? And especially in today's society, like we are definitely being ushered into a space where it's like we are more alike than different, right? We see on Instagram. And me personally, I've never been a trendy person, but I notice a lot of people are starting to dress the same, right? It's even a category for like IG models, right? Because typically the IG models are, with the latest fashions, which is the trendy clothes, and you know what I mean? And I even noticed that there's so many women who are starting to do their makeup the same way. Like it's insane. And I just, it's no disrespect to anybody. Like, hear me clearly. This is not us against them or either or, but I just want to talk to the girls like me. I just want to let you know that, you're enough. You know what I mean? Like you are totally enough and you don't have to be one particular way. Like you be you, you know what I mean? And understand that everybody's just not going to like you. And I got to a point in my life where I'm just like, I really don't care. Right. Like, and it's a process too. Like, let me not, step into the space where I'm just like, oh, I am just like F everybody who, you know what I mean? No, like, I think just being empath and just being, the woman that I am, I'm very sensitive, but at the same time, I just had to realize that I'm just not going to vibe with everybody. Everybody's not going to want to laugh with me. Everybody's not going to find what I find funny, right? I was doing some research on bats and nobody really cared to hear what I had to say, but I was like really, really enthused about these newfound facts that I found about bats, you know what I mean? But everybody's not going to care. Everybody's not going to care. Some people are going to think you're weird. Some people are going to think you talk too much. Some people are like, and I think that when you focus on that, it just never ends. And so I just want to really encourage you to be yourself. And I want to encourage you to wear your tennis shoes or whatever you want to wear that makes you feel comfortable. Girl, if it's leggings, wear your leggings, because I think as women, the expectations is just like, be this one way. And it's like, no, women like different things. I understand that. We understand like gender roles and, things like that. But, I had a lot of fun growing up playing with my brother and his toys and video games. But those things were never introduced to me, right? Like I never had an opportunity to like do those things. And I'm not saying that, in regards to my childhood, I feel neglected. Like I really enjoyed playing with Bratz and Barbies. Like that was that was lit. And I wouldn't trade that. And I probably would, pass those same things on to my daughter. But I just think, at the end of the day, there is no one particular type of woman. And I think sometimes we just group women who are not like this society defined, quote unquote, what they're saying today, right? All this noise around this feminine, thing that's just, it's so silly to me. You know what I mean? Like, be yourself. You know what I mean? If you're smart, be smart. Okay, cool. Like everybody's not going to, like I said, everybody's not going to laugh at your jokes. Everybody's not going to think you're funny. And if you like sports, then you can certainly enjoy sports, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a lesbian. You know what I mean? And we just have to really, really sit in a space of truth within ourselves to really break down those stereotypes. Because like I said, this is for the girls like me. It could be very challenging, especially coming up in today's age. I see a lot of it on social media, just how like there's so many, ways of being and people are just really being grouped together. And so I notice the girls like me are just like nowhere on the front line, but I know they're out there, right? I know they're out there. So I just had to get over here and say that. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a lesbian, and it doesn't mean that you're not desired. You know what I mean? And it doesn't mean that you're one of the boys, because you're evidently, very much apparently, a woman. You know what I mean? And you can be all of those things, but most importantly, just be yourself and understand that, the moment that you start to change yourself for others, it's continuous, right? It's like a ripple effect, and it just keeps going until you get to a space where you're like, wow, I have no clue who I am. And you look back over your life and you're like, this is really heartbreaking, because I see where I left some really, really beautiful pieces behind, right? And I understand we grow, we change, we evolve, right? We shed layers. Like, I was just, doing some journaling per usual. And I realized for myself, I'm like, man, there's so many things that I used to enjoy that I can't get down with, right? There's so much stuff that I used to have fun doing that no longer brings me excitement, so it's continuous. And I just think, that right there is different from when we're in situations and we have situations where we change and mold ourselves for someone else. And then we look up and, we've left some of our most beautiful and unique characteristics and personality traits behind because of, the approval of someone else. When at the end of the day, I really, really feel as though the moment that you walk into a situation, and I guess primarily relationships, connections, friendships, maybe even job opportunities, like just any interaction, honestly, you've already lost their respect, you know what I mean? Because you're not showing up as yourself, And so the thing about that is when you put yourself in a space to be a chameleon, you have to keep up with that. And then that becomes exhausting. And I think even just being in a space of pretension, you can really lose yourself. And I think that, if you're ever in a space where you're just kind of feeling like, wow, I feel like I fall into these categories. I feel like I'm not one of these girly girls. And you know what I mean? Like, just sit with yourself and just know your tribe is coming. Breaker, router, street 2, copy. Yeah, we're on the way. Okay, so I just wanted to get on here and share an encouraging word for girls like me, because I know that they exist, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And we are awesome, and every woman is unique. Every woman has just a really, really dope personality, like everybody does. You know what I mean? And the moment that you chip away so much of yourself for others, you chip away some really, really good things about yourself. And it's kind of like a sculpture that's fabulous, but people just come and they just like chip anywhere, and then it, turns out looking like a monkey when it was really like a I can't think of something like extremely beautiful right now. And I'm actually very disappointed. But anyways, you get the gist. So, okay, guys, I hope that this was encouraging, and I hope everybody has an amazing night.